cheating wife thought giving me a hall pass will make me stay, but I didn't 'cause I found out she makes it out with married coworker every night. So we have been married for a little over a year. It's been a pretty happy marriage. We have had small arguments as any couple would, but nothing crazy. We have never talked about an open marriage or sharing with each other before. The other day my wife came up to me and asked me if I would sleep with another woman if I had a free pass. I told her no, she was who I wanted and more than enough for me. She rolled her eyes and looked a little annoyed with what I said, which surprised me because I thought that would make her happy. She said, "Really, not with anyone?" "That's a load of crap." I stood by my answer. She then admitted that she would. I asked who. After a bit of coaxing she finally told me that there is a colleague at work that she would hook up with. I asked if she had talked to him about it, or if they had any type of sexual relationship. She denied it. The conversation ended shortly after that. I was a little suspicious, so I started to look through her phone. In her photos I noticed many nudes that had never been sent to me. I talked to her about this, and she admitted that she had been sending them to the guy at work, and that they have been sexting. Since this was now out in the open, she asked my permission for her to meet up with him. She said that the conditions were that they would meet up less than 5 times, it would only sexual, and not emotional or anything like that, and that I could have a free pass too. I was shocked that she would do this to me. She had never been overly flirty with other guys, or talked to them in front of me before. I thought she was shy around most people and timid. She just admitted that she finds him so hot and attractive, and knows that she would never have the opportunity to meet up with someone like this again. She also mentioned how he had a bigger package than any she had ever seen. She said that his personality is awful, and it would never be anything more than sex, that this is just something that she would regret if she didn't do it. She told me that she loved me in bed, but this was just something new that she wanted to experience, and that she would never do it again. As I had told her in the beginning, I only want her and don't want a free pass. She keeps insisting, saying that she would feel really bad if she does it, and I don't take advantage of my free pass. She even offered to talk to some of her friends to see if they would be interested or try to find me someone elsewhere. I told her I didn't know what to say and that I'd think about it. So what do I do? Do I try to go along with this? Do I break it off? We do truly love each other, so that would be so hard. I know she loves me a lot. Update. So after posting on here yesterday, I took some serious time to look at the advice I was given, and even chatted with a few Redditors. I thank everyone for the advice that was given. I decided to have an important discussion with my wife last night about this situation, and about the future of our marriage. I started off by telling her that I am not going to be using the free pass that she has given me. She huffed at this, and was still pretty upset. I questioned her why she would be so upset that I am not sleeping with someone else. She explained to me that it was immature and petty, and that all of her guy friends and people that she knows would jump at the opportunity. She explained how she thought it was just for me to prove a point that I'm better than her, and don't need other women to satisfy me. I explained that I'm not taking it because I truly love her. I love her, and I love having sex with her. Even if I didn't love the sex, I wouldn't be looking elsewhere for it. She said that it's not fair for her not to be able to do this, since I slept with many more women than she did men before we got married. She explained that it is only fair that she gets to do this, since I have gotten to experience so much more. I questioned her about the guy from work. I wanted to figure out how she knew so much about him and his. After questioning her for over 30 minutes, she admitted that she has felt him up, but that they have not gone further than that yet. I asked if they had already planned a time to meet up, and she said yes. They were going to try this weekend, pending our discussion. She said that since I am not taking my free pass that she will truly feel awful about it, but still does not want to cancel. I told her that I at least want to meet the guy beforehand. She agreed to bring him over at some point before they met up. After noticing that I'm visibly upset, she tried to cheer me up by telling me that I might really enjoy this, and that we are just trying something new. She brought up that we have done some role play before, and this may be something that I really like. She tells me that she will video it for me in case it is something I like. I tell her that is fine and that she could be right, but I'll only know after the fact. I explain that if I am only upset after and not turned on at all, I will not be able to approve of her meeting this guy again. She says that she understands. We had some great sex last night, and she has been extra clingy since she noticed how upset I've been. I even woke up to a full cooked breakfast and a massage this morning. I can tell that she does truly care for me and wants me to be happy. So basically we have an agreement now that if I don't like how it goes one time after they meet up that they will break it off. If she is unable to break it off with him, then I will seek counseling, and then possibly prepare for the worst. Update. So I originally posted this here last week, and gave a quick update the day after. A good bit has happened since then. I want to go ahead and give everyone a heads up that this post may be a little NSFW, and that many people will probably not be happy with this update as it goes against the advice that was given to me. Last Friday I agreed to let the coworker come over so that I could meet him. He finally arrived and my wife greeted him with a hug and gave me a cake and gave me a handshake. He introduced himself, and we had some small talk. He explained how he had the hots for my wife, and that he was the one who initiated the flirting between them. He promised that he wanted nothing more from this than to have sex with her. She agreed with him and assured me that it would be nothing more than sex. The guy did not seem like a jerk to me, and I overall had a nice time meeting him, besides the obvious fact of knowing that he would be with my wife. After some drinks and food he left. My wife asked me what I thought of him afterwards. I said that he seems nice, and that I can see why she would be attracted to him. She seemed happy that I liked him, and then promised me that she would be sending me lots of pictures of them and texts to keep me updated while she is over there with him. I asked if there were any limits on what they can and cannot do. She shook her head no. I told her my thoughts on what they should be limited to, and she seemed to be getting upset. She explained how since this is between her and the guy, that they should be the ones setting the rules of what they can do in bed, that I don't have the right to tell them what goes on between them. I understood where she was coming from, and I dropped it. Saturday morning finally came, and she was getting ready to leave. She was going to meet him at his beach house and spend the day with him. After putting her makeup on, she gave me a kiss and said bye. Throughout the day she sent me texts of what they were doing and occasionally a picture or video. And yes, many of the videos contained things that were NSFW. Early next morning she finally arrived back at our place and crawled in bed with me and gave me a kiss and some cuddles. I talked to her about their day, and she was happy and excited to share all of the details. I will admit, I did enjoy hearing them and seeing the pictures more than I thought I would. Deep down, I was turned on, although there were still so many conflicting emotions. I was still jealous and upset at the same time. They have planned to meet up again this coming weekend. I asked my wife if she would be okay if I tagged along some this time. She said that was fine, but that she would need to ask the guy. He said that he wasn't comfortable with that yet, and that I couldn't this time, but possibly another time they meet up. At this moment I have no plans of going to counseling, and I'm not anywhere close to breaking things off with my wife. I'm going to try to see where this goes and hopefully enjoy the ride. This may just be a new lifestyle for us. Thanks everyone for listening. Update. So everyone is probably going to be really happy or saying I told you so. To give everyone a quick background, I found my wife sexting a coworker. She ended up telling me that she wanted to meet with him and have sex. I agreed and even tried to accept it. They met up a few weekends ago, and then met up again this last weekend. I tried to like it, I tried to be happy for her, and I tried to make her happy. She just kept showing that she really didn't care for me. First of all, she would not let me set boundaries for them. I told them that I wasn't comfortable with things, and that they needed to stop, or at least put a few boundaries in. She refused, saying that it wasn't for me to say what they can or can't do. This past weekend is what really did it for me. She left Saturday morning without showing a care for me in the world. She made me take pictures of her to send to the guy before she left. She left without even giving me a kiss. At first she explained that she would be back that night. Nighttime came and she was nowhere to be seen. The next morning she tells me that she decided to stay the night with him, without even asking or telling me first. That's not even the worst part. That night he invited over one of his friends, and she messed around with both of them. She didn't even care to ask me about that first. When she arrived back at the house, she told me all of this stuff. I started to get visibly upset. She laughed and said get over it, and that it's not manly. I couldn't put up with it anymore. She obviously no longer cared for me. No spouse would say anything like this to their partner if they actually cared for them. I was just shocked. At no point in our marriage until the other week did I notice any signs that she would be this way. She had always been the most loving, caring girl that I had ever met. It's like a flip switch when she met that guy and she changed into a different person. I didn't know one person could change someone that much and that quickly. I'm 99% sure that she is going to end up dating this guy. She has spent the past few weekends together with him and even talks about him around me. Last night I told her that if she doesn't at least put in boundaries that I will leave. She said okay and laughed a lot. Without saying another word, I packed up some bags and booked a room at the nearest hotel. I've told my brother about this situation, and he has offered for me to come stay with him for a little while. No one else in my family knows yet. I've received many texts and calls from my wife, but I have not answered them yet. My brother is going to help me seek a divorce attorney as soon as possible. This marriage is about to come to an end. Thanks to Reddit for your comments and support. I should have listened in the beginning. I apologize for being so naive and stupid. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Get tested ASAP. No way she used condoms, and no way was after you gave her permission when she started doing this. It was just when she could do it out in the open. Go get tested. Comment 2. Oh my God. Firstly, you should not have left the house. Tell her to leave. But that ship has sailed. Secondly, have some self-respect. She is a user. She is using you. Just divorce her and let her and her duck bubbies have all the fun they need. Download Tinder and duck the first woman you get an opportunity with and tell her all about it. Comment 3. How is she reacting to it now? Did anything change when she realized she lost you for good? OP reply. Her texts are asking why I left, and she has begged me to come back. She hasn't brought up the guy yet. Or her voicemails, it sounds like she's crying or upset. Shameless wife did it with AP while I was recovering wound from robbery, and I was shocked when AP so showed me evidence. My 33M wife 37F had an affair after I was injured straight through the hip bone while trying to mug. We have a 17-year-old daughter together. The story starts when I went to the bank to take some cash out, a fairly large amount. On my way out of the bank, I did not notice I was being followed by a suspicious man. He came up to me and pointed his tool down at me and demanded that I give him all of my money. I gave him half of it, and even after he shot me through the hip. I have a carry license, so when he turned around to run, I put a few holes back into him, and the man ended up passing away. I am glad he had no family that would have to suffer. I was rushed through the hospital, and after a few surgeries I was finally able to talk to my doctor in the hospital, and he said I was very lucky to have survived, and that I lost a very large amount of blood. It took me about 4 months to recover from the wound, since apparently the hip area is a very dangerous area to be shot. The way I found out about the affair was when I got a message request through Facebook. It was a woman who started saying she needed to talk to me in person about something very important. I thought it was sketchy and maybe somebody was trying to set me up for what had happened. Well, she then started saying that her husband and my wife were having an affair. I did not believe it, and I met her at a public coffee shop. She proceeded and showed me messages from his phone to my wife's number. They sent pictures to each other. I love your messages. Where are we meeting tonight? She then sent all the evidence to me. I thanked her, paid the bill, and quickly left for my car. I felt involuntary tear drops out of my eyes. I stayed there for a while, and the woman came back to my car and she told me she could get me home if I didn't feel like driving, but I thanked her and just said I will drive. I drove around town for a while and stopped by the beach. I called my two brothers and my sister, and we met at a beach house. I told them all that happened and after my brothers, and I smoked some kush to calm down a little. My wife called me asking where I was, but I ignored all the calls and messages. I stayed at the beach house and drank the whole night until I passed out on the floor. In the morning, I went home and my mind was literally blinded and flooded with emotions. When I got home, I could barely look at my wife in her face. She was asking what was wrong, and she was asking if I was okay and where I was. I confronted her about the situation. She started crying and saying she was sorry for what she did. She went on her knees and begged me to forgive her, that it was a huge mistake, and she only wanted and loved me. I had no idea my daughter was watching from the hallway, and she ran to me and hugged me. I tried hard, but couldn't hold back the tears, and my daughter asked my mom why she would cheat on me and hurt me like that. I told her she should go out with her friends and let us handle it, and she did. I had a long silent talk with my wife. I told her I didn't know if I still love her, truth is I do, but now I feel like I'm worthless and just a waste of space. She begged me not to leave so that I could track her phone and messages, and that she would do anything. She gave me full details upon request. She was having sex with him for 3 months total while I was recovering. I said I needed time alone and she said she would be waiting if I needed anything. I can't get those thoughts out of my mind for the past few weeks. I have stopped eating and I am now confirmed I am extremely underweight now. I heard codeine would help with this, and it has, but the pain is still there. I don't want life anymore. I feel lost and like trash. I need some advice from other people. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. You are not worthless or a waste of space. You're just deeply hurt. Please seek counseling and stay away from pills. Your daughter needs you. I know a bit of how you feel. My now deceased spouse's second affair started while I was in the hospital for an extended period. Honestly, it's a huge blow to your self-esteem. The person who's supposed to love you going behind your back while you're in recovery is even worse than a regular affair. Comment 2. Just out of curiosity, do you believe the story of the robbery? Was it completely random or a setup to look like a robbery gone bad? Who knew you'd be there at the bank withdrawing money? Seems sketchy to me, and I'd really start questioning everything.